Hello, home service pros. Welcome to the Battle Plan Marketing Podcast, episode number 161. Today, we have a special series starting with Mr. Kim Hopkins, owner, operator, president of the Electric Connection out of Los Angeles. Been in business since 1979. He's got a little bit of experience, I would say. It's got about 1,000 reviews on Google and Yelp, 4.8, 5.0 ratings. He's the author of $1 Million Contracting, which is what we're going to talk about today, and which is how to start, expand, salvage your contracting business, and achieve financial freedom. Available on Amazon and in your favorite bookstore, hopefully. If not, ask him to order it. Anyway, without further ado, Kim, welcome to the show, sir.
Welcome to the Battle Plan Marketing Podcast for contractors. Get actionable advice and tactics on how to grow your home service company. Plus interviews with industry experts dropping value bombs in marketing, sales, and operations. And now, let's power up your home service biz with your host, Mark Ambrose of Battle Plan Marketing.
Well, thank you, Mark.
Appreciate you coming on. And today, for everybody listening, will be audio only, and then our future episodes in this series will be video and audio available, so you can watch on YouTube if you like. Otherwise, golden nuggets via audio. All right, Kim, so let's talk about $1 Million Contracting. Why did you write the book in the first place?
Yeah, interesting. I read somewhere when you start feeling like you're ready to move on to the next life game or whatever, that you tend to want to communicate your information about where you are now with other people to help them. And I think that's what happened. Like, I just had this strong urge to write this book, and I thought it would be just a few, pages long, and it's like over 350 pages by the time I was done with it. It's pretty much like everything I ever learned in contracting, the successful parts and what to do if you want to be really unsuccessful. I've kind of learned everything. And I wanted to just transmit this information to other potential contractors who really want to be successful. And I think I put everything in here for the last 45 years that I've learned.
Yeah, nice. I'm like halfway through, and I'm enjoying what I'm digesting. So I like what you put down on paper, and yeah, that's cool. Transition to a new stage in life, try to pass on 40 years of experience and knowledge and hard knocks onto those who are up and coming. And the book is a little bit for everybody. So if you're just starting out, it's for you. If you're already been getting going, it's for you. And if you have been going for a while and need to fine tune or are struggling, there's a lot of golden nuggets in here to get you back on track.
I would honestly say, and I really mean it, if you've been a contractor for 10 years or longer and you're not a millionaire, then you're missing something.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Totally agree. So take a look at listen to these series and then go get the book, or vice versa. Do both at the same time and follow along. Well, so the world appreciates that, Kim. So thank you for putting the knowledge on print. So it's available on audio also, right? Audiobook. That's what I'm reading.
I've got it. It's all on Amazon. I'm not pushing it to go into bookstores at this time. I don't know that that's necessary. It's an ebook. It's an audio book.
Yep.
And it's even, look, I'm not even trying to make any money from it. Like, literally whatever Amazon says I have to charge, whatever the minimum is, that's actually what I'm charging. I'm literally giving away the book. I just don't want to, pay people to read it. But past that, past that point, I don't know. I'm not even sure what the prices are. Audiobook is, maybe Mark, I think you bought it. So.
I don't remember. I have credits, so yeah, I've been listening on audio, and I bought the physical book too. So we're not on screen, but next week, I'll show the book. And I've been diving in there too, because, you got to go back and some of your charts and stuff like that, and reread.
Oh, well, yeah, the charts. Yeah. And also I just remembered it's actually free on Kindle Unlimited. If you have that, just get it for free.
There you go. Yeah. It was 1 credit on the audiobooks. What the hell's the name of that?
Great.
I forget. Getting old, man. Yeah, so cool. So let's start out. Chapter 1 and 2, we're starting with, some key essentials, but, things that people miss. So So let's talk about, well, we did mention who it's for, right? And really anybody. If you're in the trade business, you should, and you're not a millionaire already, then yes, listen, because you are listening to one who's been doing it for 40 years in Kim, not me. So Kim, let's dive into that. So we know why. And now let's talk about some of the few essentials, key essentials rather, that somebody starting or fumbling out of the gate here should be focusing on.
All right. There's actually two concepts there, slightly different. One of them is, what are the vital characteristics of a successful contractor? Even before you start, people could ask themselves, are these my characteristics or my personality? It can help because there are people that are not going to be successful contractors. But if I can just kind of list the characteristics, and then people listening can decide whether or not they feel like they have those characteristics.
Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. Sorry, I didn't mean to, I guess
go
I
ahead.
did mean. So yeah, this is actually super key for a lot of people out there, Kim, and then maybe stop them from making a giant mistake, right? So a lot of people say, hey man, I am an expert blank. And why am I working for this guy when I can just go do the business myself? A lot of us start that way. And then we quickly learn, holy shit, there are all these other hats I have to wear and skill sets I have to learn or hire out. And maybe this is not what I want to do. If I love my trade and working with my hands, I'm going to find myself very soon not doing any of that and doing a bunch of administrative crap that maybe it is not for me. So yes, so let's dive into the characteristics of what you should have if you're even, before you even consider opening up your own business. Or did I go too far there? I don't know.
No, I think that makes sense to me. All right. As amusing as it sounds, one of the characters, not a characteristic, but if you find yourself working for someone else and you think, man, really? Like they're doing it like that may be a clue that if you feel like you could do it better, maybe you can.
Right.
So anyway, all right. So here are the things that I found to be essential. There's 13 different characteristics and qualities and circumstances that are going to make someone successful or not. So here we go. First of all, knowledge of your trade. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but there are people that kind of think that they can do something because they did it for a little while. Yeah, I'm a plumber. I fixed that leaky sink, The thing is, they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
They find out the hard way. So if anyone is out there that wants to be their own contractor, but they don't have a full knowledge base of the work that they're going to be doing, which means like I'll take my example as an electrician. I never learned how to wire up a nuclear power plant, and so guess what? I'm not going to do that kind of work. But, there are plenty of kind of work that I do know how to do, and I knew how to do it when I started, and it worked out quite well. I've actually learned a lot since then, and I've expanded into areas I didn't know when I started, but I had enough knowledge to start and do the work that I knew, and then I gradually could learn more from there. So that's what I would highly recommend. You don't need the problem of trying to fix things that you break accidentally or underbid jobs because you didn't really realize or you don't know the code. So you need to start by having the knowledge of your trade.
Yeah.
And in theory, there should be no problem with that since, at least in California, and I think almost any state, you need to get a contractor's license. You really need to have had real world experience for several years.
Right.
And so it shouldn't be a problem, but I'm just going to mention it as the number one thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Know the trade, or, you're a super successful business operator with no knowledge of the trade and you're bringing in somebody who is
well, then you have to make sure they have a knowledge of their trade. And in fact, it's like doubly important then because you're going to be helpless.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're just the business guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Get that in writing, that partnership. Yeah. 100%. Somebody needs to be a master of the trade. Yes.
Right. And remember this, as a business person running the business, you're at a disadvantage. Like if you guys split up, they'll continue on with their van and tools. You will try to find another guy, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. Dangerous rope. Partnerships in general are pretty dangerous path to go down, I would say.
Yeah, I've heard it's nearly impossible. I actually have one. I went through a lot of guys before I found someone that I thought could be a partner. And then he came elevated into my own company as a partner.
Nice. Yeah. And that's the best way right there. Grow from within. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I've had a few partnerships in my life. I can tell you that don't work very well. Even if you're best friends, family, or copacetic, problems will arise. Be careful.
Oh, yeah. Like, really be careful. And it's unusual. I'm pleased with how my partnership is going, but we have it even as a partnership. He has his own part and I have my own part, and we get rewarded financially depending on how we each do separately.
Nice.
As a team, we get the whole job done, and it's working good.
Sweet.
All right. So now I'm going to just mention, I'll give you an example. I'm just saying, like, before this particular podcast, this conversation, about 20 minutes ago, our company just got a $96,000 job.
Nice.
Now, I'm telling you this because it didn't, that customer started, I think they started with a homemaker, had us do a service call somewhere, and then they recommended to their partner who was in a property management company, why don't you try these guys out? And they did. And then we did one or two jobs, and now we're replacing all the sub panels in their entire 30-unit building or something like that.
Sweet.
And the reason I'm bringing that up is because some of these may not make sense to people, what I'm going to say, but I'm flat out telling you, if you want to have a successful company and you want to build it up and have repeat business, which is the key to any kind of contractor, really.
Yeah.
Okay. You need these qualities. Take them seriously because they're kind of airy-fairy on some people. And if you really think they're stupid, you're not going to be a successful contractor, flat out. I'm just telling you. So here we go. So first of all, you need to operate within the law. You just, you can there's gray areas, or you can do this or you can do that. But I'm telling you, if you want long-term success, just play it straight. Play it straight with your income tax. Really, seriously, 45 years later, I've not taken one bit of cash under the table. Not ever. Even when I get cash, it's not under the table because I declare it.
Report it. Don't mess with the IRS, man.
Yeah, which I've never been audited. And there are indicators that they figure out who to audit, and I'm not one of them.
Right.
Hire a good accountant. But it's not just that. It's like pull permits when you need permits. People respect you if you operate within the law. And also you're protected yourself. Like if you want to try to collect money from some unscrupulous customer,
right,
and they know you've done something that wasn't quite to code or whatever, you're screwed, my friends. So operate within the law.
100.
What I'm hoping is the people that are going to succeed as a contractor intrinsically already want to do things like this.
Right.
Okay.
Hopefully.
So if it feels comfortable to do these things, that's a good sign that you could be successful as a contractor.
Yeah. License, insurance, company structure. I'm sure you'll touch on that. So I'll leave it be there.
Yeah, that's true. There's whole chapters on things like that.
Right.
These are just more like, before you even start a company, do you think you could do these things? I guess.
I see. I got you.
Okay. Be comfortable with them. Another is good people skills. Like, you've got to like people.
Yeah.
You have to want them. You want a win-win situation when you're doing business. Like, you want to do a good job for somebody and you want to get paid well for it. Like, those both have to be true. You can't think, I'm going to take advantage of this guy, or this old lady doesn't really know any better, so I'll just mark up my prices a little bit. That's not a long-term strategy. It may seem like one, but it's not going to work out. Good communication, that's really important too. Just liking people is a huge asset.
Yeah.
Like Mark likes people. You like people, Mark. That's why you talk to people all the time, and that's why you're doing a podcast.
I can't stand people, so I started a podcast.
Yeah, and it's true. Like, if you hated people, I don't think you'd be doing a podcast.
Right. Or even a business, customers and employees or contractors, whatever. You can't run a business without interacting with people regularly. So, if you're not a people person, just keep their job.
Yeah, my last, long ago, when I was an apprentice with another electrician, he was a really good electrician, and that's why I wanted to apprentice under him. He really taught me well. He was excellent, good quality work. He treated the customers very professionally, but he was a pretty rotten guy when it came to when he goes to the hotel house. He's always complaining about how life is so terrible and this and that.
Yeah.
So he, despite the fact that he did super good work, he never really could gather together a lot of repeat business, and he was always stuck. The really excellent tradesman driving around in one van, constantly having new helpers when they would go away. Like, I started my own business that way.
Right.
I didn't want to be his partner. I never would have worked with him.
Wow.
See, the difference was I had a great electrician, and eventually I found one that was so good that he became my partner, and now he's a multimillionaire.
Nice.
But anyway, so here we go. Good people skills, like them, treat them well. Golden rule is the thing here, my friends. Golden rule. Okay. Now, the next is dedication to quality. Just freaking do a quality job every time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you underbid the job. It doesn't matter if you made a mistake and you have to go back. Doesn't matter. Nothing matters more than good quality work, because 5 years later, it's going to come back where, well, yeah, I remember that guy. He did a really good job. We never had a problem. And these days, it's incredibly important because now there's reviews online. Yeah. And if you don't do a quality job and keep people happy, you're not going to get 5-star reviews. And at this point, that's, if for no other reason, just mercurial desire to make money, you better do quality work.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I think I was just looking it up. So episode number 27 of this podcast is titled Quality is Free, which was a book. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I don't remember the author, that my dad gave me when I graduated high school. And to summarize, providing the best quality service, products, etc., is actually the least costly way to do business, because you will get, well, you don't have to go back and service the job because you did it right and the parts were quality. Now you have the ability to get a review, referrals, repeat business. And let's flip it the other way. You cut some corners. So now you are definitely going back on a percentage of those jobs. Those are unhappy customers. You're not going to get reviews, or worse, you'll get bad reviews, and you're not going to get referrals. And so long term, that is a death sentence to a business. So what might seem upfront as the most expensive way to do the business is actually the least expensive and the most productive for your business. Episode 27. Go check that out.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I'd say it may not be the least expensive, but it's the most lucrative for sure. Like, you'll get the most profit.
There you go. I like it.
If you have to go back because you know you need to do one thing and you left the wrong kind of screw there and you want to get that flathead screw instead of the other kind, go back, do it. And
yes.
It costs you some gas money and some time.
Right.
But here's another way it helps you. You don't tend to make the same mistakes twice. If you let things go, you always let things go.
Right.
If you never let things go, you learn quickly to not do those things, and you learn the correct way to get things done. And then it becomes pretty easy to do a quality job and get them done even faster.
Yeah, you get better with time. Exactly. If you're QCing yourself and
right. If you absolutely insist that you do a quality job every time.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Here's the next one. We got 13. I'm only on 5. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, I'm slowing you down.
Yeah. No, I like your comments. I think they're great. Okay. Basic intelligence. Now, I will tell you, it's hard to find a stupid contractor, but they're out there. And when they are, they're not going to become millionaires. But unless they already are, they married into wealth or something. But you need a certain level of ability to duplicate your trade and to look at people and understand which ones are the quality customers. And, I would say, though, literally, if you had an IQ of 100, probably that would work. I think that most contractors probably have an IQ of about 115 to 125. That's my guess.
I never got a test. I grew up in New York City public schools, and they never give us an IQ test. I have no idea, but I totally agree. So, think of all the things you're going to have to manage and administer, reading people, like you're saying, running the business, systems, finances, taxes, laws, if you're not capable, then don't go down that path. You're just asking for a nightmare and sleepless nights. It's way better nothing wrong with having a job or a career or working for other companies. No shame in that at all.
And if you really struggle with math and business concepts and you're not super great with people or whatever, here's what you do. Find a good contractor to work for and just make your living and save 10% of it and invest it. That comes way back in the book, but I'm just telling you, this is the easiest one of all of these, because almost everyone reading this book is going to have a IQ above 100 anyway.
Yeah.
But the next one, maybe not so much. There's plenty of honest people, but there's plenty of intelligent people, but to get them together, not as many. So you can be super smart, but if you have some kind of weird, I don't know what in your personality that makes you not very honest, and you're trying to cut corners and get away with things, it's going to get you. You'll never get this repeat customer concept after a few years where people want to call you back. They can feel it.
Yeah.
You're not honest enough to know. So you don't think that they can feel it. You're not sensitive to it because you're not honest.
That's right.
Again,
that's right.
Truly honest people get by much better in life and for sure in contracting.
Yeah. So 100.
Be honest.
Any kind of business, running a business, if you're not all about quality and honesty and serving that customer, then your long-term prospects are quite limited. You might make a little cash up front, but you're screwing people over. Or whatever. So, yeah, enough said.
You read, you get these, there's these clever movies about con men that make $10 million. They steal some diamonds or something. Good luck, my friends. Good luck. That's the movies. Okay.
Right.
It's not. And the con men I've seen and the pathological liars I run into, by the time they're about 30, they've run out of the youth, good looks and energy, and they become wretched creatures.
Exactly.
And they die young.
That's a good point, actually. They are all usually very good communicators, right? Scam artists. So be careful the silver tongues, as we used to call them back in the day.
Yeah.
In fact, you mentioned something earlier, Kim, if I could bring it back, was the downer people working for your company, who are often, or sometimes, are the best technician you have or the best salesperson you have. But man, if those people have a negative mojo about them, they are bringing down your culture, especially if you have an office or warehouse where everybody's coming together for training and stuff. They bring down people. You got to get rid of it. I have worked in companies where, the top dog was an absolute asshole and just destroying the culture in the company, but they kept him on because he, brought in the numbers. Careful of that.
Oh, for sure. And you can bring in the numbers for a couple of years in certain ways, but the long-term numbers are going to crash and burn.
Yeah. They're behind the scenes. They're destroying your company, and all you see are the sales numbers coming in.
And then you find out later that they've been recruiting guys to start their own company.
Right.
All kinds of stuff. And it's almost like, great, recruit the ones that'll go with you, because that'll get rid of all those guys all at one time.
Take them. Yeah, but that could hurt like a son of a bitch. So, just be careful of the guys who are shining in or gals in your company, and make sure. So, yeah, the honesty and quality, they kind of go hand in hand,
I think so. What it seems like, Mark, is I'm talking about these things and they really resonate with you. You get pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
You have your own experiences with these things.
Well, because you're quite right. It's pretty rare to find that combination. I never understand it. I pull my hair out. I'm an old guy, circled the sun a few times. I just don't get why people have such a short-term viewpoint and they're a good tradesman. We've all run into it. I think every single person on the planet has run into an asshole tradesman who was maybe a good tradesman, but a terrible business person who cheating you, or vice versa. They had no business being in business and are terrible tradesmen, like point number one you brought up. Right? And that's most people out there, unfortunately. So if you just adhere to the guidelines, man, you stand out. You're awesome. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, there is that truth. Okay. Number 7 is willingness to confront the hard things. Okay. Now, you did a job and you're tired and you forgot one thing. You were supposed to, this nice lady asked you to keep that, straighten out that cover plate in the upstairs bedroom, or there was a little leak for a plumber that was in some sink and, oh, you forgot. Man, you're halfway home on your van. Go back. All the hard things, or like you've got an employee and he looks good, but maybe he's taking stuff, stealing a few little things here and there. You don't know for sure. Don't let it go. You can't let any of this stuff go. It's the hardest things they become the most important things, but they're never maybe that important that split second, but somehow they're easy to let go or even out of work. Like suppose you've got a partner who is upset when you work on Saturdays or something. You gotta confront the things that are going to impact your business. You have to confront them and come up with a solution. Yeah. You got to do it. So those are the hard things.
Yeah. There's an old saying, I'm probably going to butcher it, but it's, disappointment gone uncommunicated turns to anger. Anger gone uncommunicated turns violent. Not exactly happening in this case, but like you say, if you don't nip it in the bud early, it just keeps festering. It becomes a big problem.
Yeah. Look, you missing one of those things, it's a problem. One of these 13 things, I'm telling you, you need all of them.
Yeah.
If you can make all of these things part of your daily purpose in life and existence and your personality, you have an excellent chance of succeeding as a contractor.
Nice.
Okay. But if you're missing one, like if you can't confront the hard things or you don't have basic intelligence or you're not honest, like if you review all the ones I've already talked about, it only takes one of them if you're really terrible at it and you're not going to succeed.
Yeah.
That's why I don't even know in LA, which is where I'm in there. I'm sure there's something like, I'd say 50,000 electricians. Okay. And there's probably 5 really successful companies of the kind that I have, which is I've got like a 30-man company that does, certain kind of work. Probably 5 companies like that, service companies. And there's a reason that all these people are not being what our company is. And it's all about these things right here.
Yeah. I like it. That's why they're on page 1, man.
Yeah. Okay. Next is good communication. We've kind of touched on this anyway, but if you can't talk to people, if you can't pick up your phone when it rings, what can I say? And I have a small internet marketing company that helps contractors with websites around the country. And, sometimes they ask me for advice. And what I find is sometimes they're busy on a job and the phone rings and they're just too busy to answer it. Or they get a message even and they don't even return it that day. Like, dude, that's your customers. What are you thinking? Do you think they're going to wait around for you? And that's just one example of communication. It's all duplicating what someone said to you. If somebody tells you, look, in my office, I've got 3 recessed lights, or I need the paint color to be beige, you've got to duplicate what they're saying.
Right.
And if there's a reason that it shouldn't be beige paint, you need to communicate why that is. And, good communication.
Good communication. And I love that speed to lead is a key part of that right out of the gate in your book. My entire company is all about speed to lead because after years as an agency, I realized, no, that's the most important thing. You can spend all the money you want on ads, man, but if you got a leaky bucket, you're just leaking more money. So
yeah, isn't that incredible? Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you how many contractors in the last 45 years I've called for my own house, like a painter, right? And they have spent, I don't know how much money to be in some, magazine or this or that or the internet. They have spent money.
Yep.
And then you call them and they don't return the call.
They don't return.
You just spent money for this. Like, why don't you just throw the money away?
It's crazy. And just think of it yourself as a consumer, right? Just flip the switch for a second. And now, you have a burst pipe and out goes the phone. Google comes up. You're searching plumber near me or whatever, leak detection, leak fix. And down the road you go, you start calling. How long are you going to wait for the guy who went to voicemail? And what the hell is it going to voicemail for anyway? First of all,
well, if you, let's say you're starting out and you've got you in your garage, if you even have one, and you got a van and you're out there. I see voicemail. I mean, you're in the middle of a job and you're working, but you better handle that voicemail within a couple hours. You better. And even then, you're going to have lost 50% of your whoever left that message.
Yep. And let's talk about voicemail here, because I agree that prior to 2025, if you were a solo, technician out there, you didn't have a choice, right? It was going to voicemail, or you did have a choice. You could hire an answering service, right? Calls go over there. But today we're in the world of AI. I don't care if you like it, hate it, whatever. That is the reality. And in just a few short years, in fact, if you're smart, you're studying it, because I already use, I don't even know, 12, 24 little AI robots to do all kinds of stuff for me. AI answers our phones. AI follows up by text and all that stuff. So today you should have an AI voice agent. They're inexpensive. They're better than both your voicemail and the answering service. They will collect the caller's data, what the reason for calling, and they can even schedule appointments right away. So if you're a solopreneur, start looking out there for AI voice agents too.
Yeah, I know it's going to be we're tentatively doing a little bit of AI, but I have the luxury of not doing that. But I might do it for after hour calls.
Yeah, 100%. And it's, we're at its infancy. These bots, just using OpenAI as an example, from 2.0 to 3.0 to 4.0, the advancement of the bot is unbelievable. So, and we're just in embryonic stage. So.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm already kind of figuring out, I've got a whole price book figured out, and now we're planning on AI being able to literally give prices out for having conversations, which is probably 3 years away or something, but nevertheless, we're getting it. We're planning.
Oh yeah, well, you can do that now with OpenAI and their assistant bot. You can upload your CSV file with your product list up there, and boom, it can give accurate pricing. Yeah, crazy. A lot of work to build these things sometimes, and you can customize anything. I was talking to a guy who said he was calling the hospital for some, I can't remember, trying to get to a department, and he didn't even realize until a few minutes in, when the bot introduced itself or acknowledged that it was AI. He didn't even know he was talking to AI.
Wow.
And most times you kind of do, but if you get the job done, especially after hours, we just want to collect the caller's data, the reason for calling, is an emergency or not, have some kind of emergency handling or transfer call or automation going on, so on and so forth. Anyway, it's a brave new world. So you can fill the gaps and speed the lead. Speed the lead is the most important thing out there, especially if you start sinking dollars into advertising.
That's insane.
Your bucket better not be leaking.
Yeah. All right. So do you want me to mention that right now?
No, that's good. That's good. You covered speed to lead. That was awesome. So, and I interjected too much as usual. So carry on.
I can see that you're really into the same stuff. So I
100%. Yeah, love it.
Great. It's a good conversation. So yeah. All right. Look, I'm ready to move on because I gotta. Okay. All right. Tell me when you're ready.
Yeah, fire away. Available cash and credit lines and such. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So number 9 is reliable financing. A lot of people don't think about this when they're starting a company. They just think, well, yeah, I've got a couple $1,000 and I'm, I have already bought my tools and I can just, on the first job, I'll just take some of the money and buy the next thing. And by the way, that's exactly what I did. I started working out of literally a sedan car.
Wow.
But I was so innocent. But anyway, I learned the hard way that you really need to have good financing. And there's formulas for that deeper into the book I go into, how to figure out how much you need, but you need a certain amount of cash flow so that you're not desperate for money right when you need it to get something done. And that's all I'm going to say right now. But financing is a part of this. A lot of people don't.
100%. Yeah. You got to become a master at it eventually. Yep.
Yeah. You have to be pretty good. But you get that skill. You don't start with it and you're doing little jobs in somebody's houses and whatnot. And then you move on to larger projects. And every time you're moving on, you're learning more about financing. And if you're following some advice on this book, you're getting more cash flow yourself, capability, and you're getting more credit as well. And it works out. It's a balance. as
An
you,
acquired knowledge as you
you
grow.
get more skill at everything you do, your trade, communication,
Right.
bookkeeping, and you build on a basic level, but you need to start at a basic level with these things. Okay,
Good.
I'm going to go move on to number 10 here, which is ability to learn. Again, in fact, I was just touching on it. Like as you expand, you need to expand your knowledge pretty much in every area. So there's your trade, there's communication, there's dealing with people, there's the legal stuff, there's the financing stuff. And each day you working, you gradually don't even notice it sometimes, learning more and more about all these different things. And suddenly when you have some employees working for you, you've learned a lot of things, and you hire a bookkeeper and you do this and that. It just sort of expands if you're honest and make sure that you don't leave anything behind that's undone that you should have done. Eventually you just expand in all areas at a same level. So you're quite capable of getting bigger projects, and then you need more money, but you have that money for cash flow. It's all a kind of a balanced system.
I like it. Are you an advocate, Kim, of joining, state or national trade groups or mastermind groups or things like that?
I haven't really found them to be that successful for me. Like for sure, like for promotion, breakfast clubs, people talking to each other, that for
Right.
sure I don't have this personality. I do have a pretty good communication skill, but I don't like hanging out with desperate guys looking to pass out business cards or something.
Small talk, yeah.
But what I'm able to do is have a mindset with my customers. What are they thinking? What do they want? How can I help them? And I always think that above and beyond the money part, and they can feel it. And then they're very willing to hand over the money. Actually, about 10% more than maybe they've gotten other bids on, just because of that communication skill of the desire to make sure it's done the right way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what
And
happened.
like you said earlier, they
Yeah,
can kind of feel that. They can feel that mojo.
it just happened
Yeah.
right before this podcast we're doing, and it's going to happen again. I have a feeling. I have a phone call with another customer that needs help, and I just sent him a contract, and he's probably going to call me and want to do it because he trusts me. He knows I'm trying my best for him, and I am.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on here. Number 11 is mindset of a business owner. Here's the thing, guys. When you are a tradesman and you're working for somebody else, your focus is on getting the job done correctly, maybe keeping the customer happy by talking nicely to them and whatnot. But that's what you're there for. You're there to put in your time and get paid, and no problem. But when you start your own business, you're not there as a tradesman anymore. You're there as a business person. And part of that job is physical. It's getting the work done, whatever that is. But there's a lot more to it. And you need to understand that every job you do should be building your business. Like there's something you should be thinking, oh, I'm creating a repeat customer here. Oh, I'm learning how to, collect money from Zoom now, or, whatever it is.
Right.
As a business person, understand you're running a business. Part of that business is doing physical work, and that's only part of it. So you can't forget that.
Yeah. 100%. Yep. Systems, all that good stuff.
Okay. Now, if you want to become a millionaire, number 12 is important. That is, you need a growth mindset. You need to think, how can I expand from here? What's the next step? What should I be doing next to parlay what I've already got into the next thing? What's the next level? Where can I go from here? And if you don't focus on that, if you don't think about growth, it pretty much doesn't happen. Like if you think, oh, I got 3 phone calls. Okay, I guess I'll call them back. But, I only need 2 jobs next week. So, maybe I'll only call 2 if I get those 2 jobs. Hey, no, man, you've got to think, how can I expand? I mean, if you want to, there's actually a way to make a lot of money by being just a tradesman with a helper, but that's a part in my book further along. But basically, if you want to grow and have a lot more jobs and more people working for you and producing income for yourself from their labor, and they're happy to give it to you, you need a growth mindset.
Agreed. Yeah.
Okay. And now a balanced skill set. And what that means is as you expand, like when you first, like a neighbor calls you and they say, "Hey, listen, man, can you I've got a loose brick in my driveway. Can you fix it? I know you're into bricklaying." You go, "Yeah, sure." And they say, "Listen, I'll give you an apple pie." Okay, great. I'll do that. And you sit down and they give you an apple pie and maybe some ice cream. Who knows? Get a little bonus there. And that's great. Like, okay, now you've done. That's the level of which you needed communication skill, you needed technical skill, you got paid for it. But as you expand from that and you want to get paid with actual dollar bills, then you need a little skill about, okay, you need to report that to the IRS and you need to have a bank account and you need to, and pretty soon now, the guy that wanted you to fix that driveway, his wife works someplace that they want you to build a little retaining wall.
Right.
Well, you better have you suddenly realize, oh, I need invoices. I don't have invoices. I better do something to learn how to make invoices. And, oh, well, here's a way. I looked it up on the internet. Here's a form I can use. And, 20 years later, you've got 2 secretaries and an office manager coming up with things you never heard of. But the fact is you expand, you have to balance it. You've got to have communication skill. You have to know who to work for. You need to know how to handle the money that comes in. You need to, all of it has to be balanced. The more bigger the projects, the more skill you need in every aspect of things.
Yeah, yeah. And part of that growth mindset is seeking out that knowledge, right? So going after it. I like it.
Okay. So now number 10 was basic actions of a successful contract. I'll just go over them quickly. I don't know if we want to cover that in another podcast further, maybe next time, but basically I'm just going to list them here. Okay. We've talked about those qualities that you need to have. Okay. Then here's some actions. I'll give you 8, 1 through 8. You set up your contracting company properly. By the way, these are all different chapters in the book. So
right.
I figured I'd write the book for the novice that hasn't even started yet being a contractor, figuring out if they should, and then gradually how do they start their company and how do they expand it. So that was my
Well, even some of the guys and gals, a couple of years in, have skipped a couple of steps. So
that's right. They just go to chapter 3, start.
Exactly.
Okay. So set up your contracting company properly. That's a whole chapter. Attract customers to your business. Sell your services to customers. By the way, that's a different thing. Some people think attracting customers is selling them. It's not.
Right.
Attracting customers is just waving a flag and getting them to look at you.
Right.
Selling them is talking to them once they notice the flag. One is promotion and one is sales. They're
marketing and sales. Yes. 2 different things. Yep.
Very much so. Okay. And then here's the thing. You need to organize your entire activity so that you'll be able to provide quality services. If you get so disorganized that you're too fast, you got to run around from 3 jobs all in the same day and you skip things. That's not right. You have to be organized and always have quality services one way or another. And then, of course, you have to do quality work. You got to collect the money. And then you got to do whatever kind of administrative work to manage that money. And then number 8, you got to make a profit. Okay. This is really important because maybe you did all that stuff and you suddenly realized, hey, all the money's gone. What happened? Okay. Yeah. And then 2 more things. You got to be able to expand your company. And then number 10 is the easiest one, which is enjoy your success.
Exactly. Each one is a chapter diving deeper into the topic.
Yeah. And it also goes into later in the book, there's things about how to invest your money and how to do this and that. But basically that's the basics of outline, you might say, of what's going to happen in the first 10 chapters of the book.
I like it. So we will pick up with probably chapter 2 there, attract, or it's really 4. Those are the topics, but chapter 4 is marketing. Chapter 5, I believe, promotion. So our next episode, we'll dive into those. Key interest on my end, of course, being in the marketing world. Kim, awesome stuff. I hope I didn't interject too much. My apologies if I did. I'll try to be a little less.
I think, Mark, you did a great job of communicating from your point of view.
Yeah,
everything you said, I agree with. That's for sure.
Thank you, sir. I like the book. I like the context. I like the sequence of it, the way you laid it out. I'm learning some tidbits myself. So for the listeners out there, tune into the next episode. Thanks for listening to this one. By the way, Kim, if they want to get a hold of you or check out your company online, how do they reach you?
Well, if they want to know more about the book, I have a little website. It's called, shockingly enough, $1,000,000contracting.com.
Nice. Beautiful.
That will lead them to an ability to get the book at whatever Amazon says the least expensive way they can buy it is.
Perfect. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to check out my company just to see if I'm a legit guy, it's theelectricconnection.com or just electricconnection.com.
Perfect. Perfecto. Kim, thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for sharing the book and the knowledge with the world. And thanks for coming on the show and reviewing the book with me. I don't know how many episodes it'll take to go through the whole thing, but I appreciate you carving out some time for a selective series to share this skill set with the people out there. So thank you, sir.
Well, you're very welcome, Mark. Looking forward to the next one.
Right on. All right, everybody, create a great day out there.
Thanks for listening to the Battle Plan Marketing Podcast. To power up your home service business, for show notes, visit battleplanmarketing.com/podcast. If you enjoyed our show, please share it on social. Until next time.